The Directorate of Criminal Investigations is from today expected to start the grilling of 40 people, even as a probe into the 9 billion shillings NYS scandal begins. The suspects are expected to appear before the DCI headquarters along Mombasa Road to explain their role in the scandal that has threatened to cripple the running of the State Department. Public Service Cabinet Secretary Margret Kobia has sent National Youth Service officers who are under investigations over the 9 billion scandal on compulsory leave. This even as the PS Lillian Omollo and the NYS director Richard Ndubai opted to step aside to facilitate investigations. And welcome back to News Center. This is our second hour of the show, and I trust that, of course, you are enjoying our coverage. We'll be sampling your tweets in a few minutes. Remember that we are asking you if you think that the NYS should be disbanded. Is it time that we should have that conversation about the disbandment of the NYS? Let's keep the conversation going. Hashtag is KTN News Center or tweet me at Betty M. Kialo. I'll be looking at your tweets in this hour. All right, so I want us to have a conversation with one Charles Omanga. He's a lawyer and a political analyst. We'll be talking to him about a number of things. Charles, good morning. He's joining us, like I mentioned, from the City Center studio. It's great to see you, Charles. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you, Betty.
All right, good morning. And I'd like us to start, we'll have two different discussions. And I just want to hear your comment, really, on IPOA, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. Now, the curtains come down today officially, and many Kenyans are asking themselves whether they actually delivered. They were supposed to transform the police service, but out of that, we have really little or dismal performance, according to many Kenyans who feel the same. What is your take, even as the curtains come down for this particular service?
Thank you very much, Betty. My comment about the Independent Police Oversight Authority is that there are quite a number of cases that were reported. And the mandate of the authority was to ensure that all those cases that are involving our men and women in uniform are fully investigated, and those who are found to be culpable or of any wrongdoing should face the full force of the law. But more importantly, as the curtain falls on the IPOA and the Masharanjeru Authority, is that not much has been done. Remember, Betty, there has been a lot of extrajudicial killings. There is a lot of issues involving the police, including corruption and even the police not really discharging their mandate in a humane manner as required by a police officer. So my brief comment about that is that Kenyans do not really have much to take home because there is so many cases that have never been concluded. A few of them have been concluded, but most of them are not to the satisfaction of Kenyans or for those who are affected by such action. Therefore, as it has been, I think going forward, we should get more serious. More importantly, on the issues that are involving the police, because you realize that most of the issues that are always happened, people fear that the police, they look the police force with a lot of fear and anxiety, and that is not a perception that we should create. We should ensure that these are members, servicemen and women who are members part of our disciplined forces, who should always be seen as people who understand the basic human rights and the fundamental freedoms. Therefore, let them go home, but I think they have not done much. They have tried. Maybe that is to the best of their ability. But I want to believe, as I believe Kenyans also do, that nothing much has been done or achieved by the authority that we can say it was worth it.
Charles, thank you for that. Of course, we'll keep an eye on what's happening there. IPOA really just bringing their end to their service or their term today, and they're doing their handover today to the Secretariat. All right, Charles, I want us to go on and discuss this issue to do with the NYS scandal, yet another scandal. I've talked to you, I've interviewed you quite a number of times, you know, with regard to the different other scandal, the 791 million one. And here we are talking about another one, 9 billion shillings. First of all, what is your take, really? What are you reading from this second scandal dogging the NYS?
I think, Betty, we need to get serious as a nation. We need to get serious as a people, and we need to get serious as a government. Because remember, NYS previously has been an institution that actually was really helping quite a number of young people that maybe have not managed to proceed to tertiary institution, and also to equip our young men with various technical skills. I want to believe, and this is quite sad, that this is an institution that was dogged with a multi-billion scandal. Remember the last time it was rumored that it was also almost close to 25 billion Kenya shillings. Just imagine. Thika Superhighway was constructed at about 34 billion Kenya shillings. Just remember, from Nairobi to Thika, 34 billion Kenya shillings. Now, could you imagine what 25 billion Kenya shillings can do to Kenyans? And this is something that happened. Nobody was charged. Those who were charged recently, a decision was passed that the prosecution was not able to present enough evidence that could have sustained convictions of the officers that were involved. Therefore, the question also goes back to our investigative authorities and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. I've said this not once, not twice, that the institution that should be blamed are the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, because in most occasions you'll realize that no enough evidence has been presented, or the file has been referred back to DPP for review. You go to Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, which in my view has also not lived up to its mandate as out to the expectations of Kenyans, me included. The reason being that they are mandated to investigate. After they have investigated, the findings of their investigations are forwarded to the Office of Director of Public Prosecution, who in turn should review, check, and prosecute those who are involved. So when a decision is being passed that the prosecution did not present enough evidence, while it is glaring, it is in the Auditor General's books that a lot of money running into billions have been swindled or misappropriated. Remember, our Constitution in the preamble talks about in exercising our sovereign and inalienable right to determine the form of governance that we want. We adopt and enact the Constitution to ourselves and our future generations. That very Constitution gives us a mandate in Article 3 to defend it. It proceeds further and talks about the responsibilities of leadership under Article 73 in the chapter of leadership and integrity, and Article 75 that talks about the responsibilities of leadership. If you go further in Article 232, talk about the principles of public finance management. Therefore, Betty, this is something that our president, and I believe that he's not going to take this lying lightly. We have new director of criminal investigations. We have a new director of public prosecutions that I want to believe that is going to inspire the confidence of Kenyans into these institutions, so that any person, remember, it is not about how much is stolen. Even if you are suspected, that a mere fact that it is presumed that you have done something that is threatening the Constitution with a breach or a violation, Betty, that is enough. We don't have to wait for the error of the file has been referred back to DPP, the file is again back to EACC. We are continuing with the investigations, while the people that are earning taxpayers' money that should investigate and ensure that people are prosecuted are still in office, and Kenyans are continuing to pay these individuals. Remember recently the issue of the Nairobi cemetery scam that has happened so many years back. Those who were the minister by that time, the assistant minister at that time, the mayor at that time, have not been prosecuted. But now the former town clerk, now at so many years, at least we are starting to see that the judiciary actually is trying to take action. And that is not enough to inspire the confidence of the people of Kenya. So the NYS, from where I stand, if we can lose such amounts of money, and therefore the operations at NYS is not affected, they are still continuing with their programs, it means we should revisit the amount of money that is being allocated to the National Youth Service, because it means they are given a much that is more than enough, that the rest, the surplus can end up in some individuals' pockets, because we remember the boots are not supplied, the uniforms. It means the NYS has been given a lot of allocation that they do not need. If we can't disband it now, let us cut down the money that is being allocated to National Youth Service.
Charles, thank you very much for that very interesting and powerful statement there. I'd like also to just ask, I mean, you've mentioned that, right now we have some, new figures, Nurdin, Haji, and of course Kinoti, who are leading these investigations, these institutions. But really, is it about the investigations, or is it that, maybe they're just these powerful people who, can do whatever they want with, taxpayers' money? Because really, this is not the first time we're having such a scandal. That means that, whoever is behind this 9 billion shillings loss is bold enough to actually do it again. So is it really about investigations, or are we just dealing with, we're still dealing with a big fish that, like we've always called them for many, many years?
Thank you very much. I would not really say that it is about the investigations alone. Remember, there is various institutions that are involved, and it is the responsibility of even us Kenyans to ensure that we have that collective will to fight corruption and to fight graft. More importantly, Betty, the reason why I'm taking it back to the investigative authorities is because once an allegation has been made, you do not just, an individual cannot voluntarily walk into jails or into cells. It is the duty, because anyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Therefore, that is why I'm saying those who are mandated and taxed to bring that evidence that can prove guilt are to blame. Because now, if Auditor General has already given his report that certain amounts of money is missing or has been misappropriated in certain institution of government, therefore it is upon the investigative authorities to ensure that they investigate these allegations and they bring evidence that can actually prove guilt on part of those who are being accused. Therefore, that is why I'm blaming the investigative authority. But that was not to say that it is them that have the responsibility of ensuring that we account for all our actions. More importantly, as Kenyans, we have glorified thieves and vilified innocent Kenyans. Because once you are suspected or said to have looted, then people start to see you as a hero, as somebody that is strong. And I want to believe that if investigations can be done thoroughly and exhaustively, we will be able to start seeing that this is not just a scam that is involving the small fish, or the omenas, we call it in our native dialect. What is important and is evident here is that there is certain individuals somewhere, whether within the government or outside the government, that are so powerful, presumably, that they can do away with close to 30 billion Kenya shillings. Because if indeed it is true that it is 9 billion that is lost, plus the 25 billion that was lost previously, it comes to around 34 billion Kenya shillings. Therefore, what I want to say and to advise, that it is high time that we must start as Kenyans to put our institutions to account for their existence. If we have an EACC that does not have tooth to bite, either the officers are incompetent or deliberately there are certain people that are pressing certain buttons, that certain files or certain issues should be investigated in a particular manner. Therefore, it is high time that if it is prayers, let us pray. If it is not only prayers but fasting, let us also fast as a country. But it is so sad that any time that you switch your TV on or you read your newspapers, the headline is certain amounts of billion is lost. And not lost that Kenyans have benefited or Kenyans are satisfied and all the services that they need have been rendered, but they are sleeping a disappointed and disgruntled lot because certain people are so powerful that can never be investigated. A person snatches a phone and is charged immediately. But now for these powerful, so-called powerful individuals and mega scams, every time the police is in hot pursuit, no stone will be left unturned, even where there are no stone to be unturned. So it is a very sad scenario, a very sad situation in this century, whereby taxpayers' money can just be swindled left, right, and center. Then we glory these individuals. They step aside, they leave office, they come to another electoral cycle. These people are either elected or nominated. They are still with us. They continue now when they have powerful political offices. The systems that they had engineered continues to thrive and continues to swindle Kenyans of their hard-earned money. It is a sad thing, and it is high time. Let us do away with the NYS altogether, or let us cut down the allocation that we give to NYS. But more importantly, these individuals, those who are in office, it is not enough for Director Ndubai and PS Omollo to resign. Let everybody, all officers from procurement, the IFMIS guys, and everybody to go home. Let that office remain vacant. Let our investigative authorities move in swiftly to secure the file so that others are not remaining to try to interfere with issues when the director and the PS is out. Then they leave their guys still in office. They are presumed to be junior officers. They might not have been involved, because for such amount of money to be lost, it means it is a system running down even from the secretary who receives guests, who is coming in, who is presenting his tender documents, who is bringing the name of his company. Let all these people go home. Let His Excellency the President ensure that all his institutions are up and running. Let them move in and ensure that all these individuals are home. Investigations should be done within a very short period of time, so that within the next 2-3 months at most, evidence is there, and people are in court and charged and in committee.
Charles, let's also just talk about something that you mentioned. Should we just do away with this particular department? Because, you know, looking at the trend before, it seems that there are loopholes and gaps and an open field that, you know, money can be lost. You said, of course, very correctly that you've seen the budget for NYS, you know, increase over the years. You know, since the time of Mwai Kibaki, it was not as much, but now we're talking about billions and billions of shillings. And also, there's something also very important that I want to mention out. Now, while other ministries operate a single IFMIS system to make payments for all departments, NYS has continued to run IFMIS independent of the parent ministry, and that means that, you know, it's almost like a separate entity from just how the other departments and the other ministries operate. So this seems that maybe there is, you know, an open field for this monies to be lost. So what then? Do we do away with this particular service?
I think I can say that we need not to disband it, because NYS has done quite a lot of good things. When we have disasters, our young brothers and sisters always come in very handy and really help in various situations. And more importantly, our young brothers and sisters are also get very technical skills that are very relevant into other spheres of life. Therefore, I would not say that we need to disband it. When the allocations to NYS was increased by the then retired President Mwai Kibaki, it was with good intentions to see that many people can be recruited, many people can be trained, so that we equip them with skills necessary. There was even a time that it was rumored as well that once these people are through with their training, they are absorbed into the main service. Others in police, others in administrative police, others in army, and so forth and so forth. Therefore, I don't think it is necessary that we disband. What we need to do, we need to cut down the money that is allocated. Remember, the moment the money started, the increase in allocation started, is when now the fight started. Remember how Dr. Nelson Gidinji was unceremoniously ousted out of NYS. It is because someone has developed a structure and realized that where he can loot so easily is at NYS. Therefore, if you are not compliant to whoever, there are cartels or there are just certain systems that are operating, then you can never stay much longer at the helm of NYS. Therefore, what I want to believe is that the increase was well-intentioned, but we've now come to realize that this increment is not really what is needed. They have enough. They have enough to do whatever they want to do, and there is even surplus that some individuals can loot in broad daylight, blatantly and arrogantly. They mess up with the investigations, they are acquitted, they come back, they get elected into political offices because publicity in politics, whether it is good or bad, it is publicity. Somebody becomes popular and is elected. What I want us to do as a nation and as a people, let us rise up. Let us start questioning ourselves. Do we really do what the Constitution requires us to do for being eternally vigilant and ensuring that our institutions and our brothers and sisters that are given responsibility remember the responsibilities of leadership or conduct of a state officer? Whether you are in public or in private, it is an authority assigned to you, is an authority that should ensure that it inspires the confidence of the office the officer holds, and it brings the dignity and honor to the nation. When you are serving and each and every time people are throwing mud at you or in confidence to the office you are holding, people are losing faith, people are losing confidence, you are not inspiring Kenyans' confidence anymore. What remains of you is that let us do away with you, go away, let us allow other Kenyans. But if need be that we disband it, then we can disband NYS to say even for a year, that let us forget about this thing NYS. Let us go back into the laws, regulations, the structures, and we see where do we take the future of NYS. Because there is so many other corruption scandals. But this one for NYS has become very cancerous, that anybody that goes there is not going there to serve, but to see how they can manipulate IFMIS. Why would they even allow NYS? What is so special about NYS? So that they can run a separate IFMIS. Why not Ministry of Defense? Why are they not having an IFMIS that is controlled by the parent ministry? It means certain individuals. This is not something that they done yesterday. This is something that has been planned. And somebody somewhere smiling how they have managed to dupe Kenyans and executed their mandate. It is a sad thing.
All right. Charles, thank you very much for your comments, for your insights there. And of course, it's a story that really has angered quite a number of Kenyans just hearing Charles's frustration. But of course, it's something that we'll keep an eye on here. Charles is a lawyer and he's also a political analyst. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we want to take a short commercial break. Coming back in a few moments to continue with our coverage. And seeing quite a number of tweets here with regard to our Twitter poll. We're asking you if you think the NYS should be done away with. Many of you saying no. All right, so Cindy, you say yes and no. In case they disband NYS, how sure are they that the new team will not be professional thieves as well? What we should do is to fish out the thieves who have been messing NYS, sack them and jail them instead of disbanding it. In there, they are innocent people too. Tadeo Panetta, you say leave the girls and lads program alone, smash the snakes that want to bring it down by injecting venom into it. All right, thank you for your comment. Kigogo, you say people should be answerable to their deeds. Generally, you have a different view. You say a big yes, let it be disbanded. Walela Anthony, you say they should pave way for investigations. Later, they should face prosecutions to set a lesson for others. All right, thank you for your comments. And we'll continue to sample them as we proceed on here on News Center. Let's take a break. We'll see you in a few minutes.